What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell, guys. We had a couple of locals, a couple of events where we've been playing online, a couple of times where this list has been passed back and forth between friends, kind of messing around with some text. Without further ado, let's talk about Exodia. It's time to obliterate. My grandpa's deck, I don't know who they thought they was talking to. Better get that together. Alrighty, guys, so I'm getting down to business. Guys, Exodia has been doing me well. It's a really fun deck, guys. Can't say enough good things about it. It's really fun. You obviously got to pay the pieces. Now, clearly, this will be the most frustrating part of the deck, obviously, because you will draw these pieces, you will brick on them, you will be frustrated, you will want to throw the deck across the room. It's okay. Just make sure that you realize you will draw them, deal with it. Maybe play a Vortex Trooper or something, or a line for a Saryuja, maybe with the horror stuff, and figure something else out. If you don't want to just sit on the bricks, or you don't want to try to like normal summon a leg and hope a Secret Village sticks or something like that, there definitely is some options, but good luck with all that. Now, getting into the cards, when you're playing this deck actually in a competitive room, you got to have the strong cards. And I feel like you still got to hit people with hand traps. So I'm playing triple Ash Blossom. You don't really lose to Fuaros or Charmy, or you don't really lose to any of them. So therefore, a card like Ash Blossom absolutely can be a lot more impactful because you don't have to waste them on unnecessary hand traps. You know, you don't care about giving them a card. You're only going to summon one time out of the extra deck, a majority of the time, and you'll be able to kind of see what your lines are. You obviously have to play Shifter. Shifter is Shifter. It's the best card in the game. Nothing has really changed. Except for that Shifter, I feel like has actually gotten even more impactful, where it's kind of shifted last format. Now it's right back to where it was. And then obviously to round out those, I have triple Fuaros, which I feel like is also really key to mention as well, because you want to basically lock down their turn from kind of keeping them from being able to build a fully established board the way that they want to kind of dominate and round out that way. I think moving on, you have to kind of start off, move these guys out of the way. You kind of have to start off with triple Heart of the Blue Eyes. Obviously with Blue Eyes, you have the ability to pitch it to grab Ankh, which majority of these cards will obviously get you there. But this is the fastest way, and obviously when it's in the graveyard, which means if you haven't activated Shifter, it's going to sit around in the graveyard. So even if you don't Shifter people, if you do go first and you have this, you're still going to have an interruption, and it'll send a card on their side of the field if it's 3,000 or more attack to the grave. Send, which is really key because it can send a card like Deadner. It's really awesome. You got to talk about Sinjin. Obviously Sinjin. Forgive me for not having the QCRs. I tried, folks. They, you know, it's hard out here for a pimp. But this card is really key in being the Stratos of the deck to basically grab anything that you need, whether that be the field spell or whether that be the Golem to grab the field spell, whether it be the Heart. You most of the time can just pitch Heart. And if you pitch the Heart and you add the Ankh, then all of these effects won't actually cost you the 2,000 that they usually do, which is really key as well. And then rounding that out, I got to talk about double Shield. Shield is also really stupid because it basically gives you the ability to add a Ankh directly to your hand by paying 2,000. Now, majority of the time, I feel like this would be the correction that I would make, is that you should play 3 Shield and 1 of these, because people are going to draw you, especially more often now, especially with a lot of these new Suda decks coming out, these Supreme Darkness decks that are coming out. You want to be able to just open up the cards, not go search for the cards. So this is where the cut would be for me. Get the Ankh in your hand immediately. Play 3 of these. Don't play 2. I tried to be cute with that. The ratio was working, but now that it's shifted, so that would be the shift that I would make as well. That's rounding out all of the monsters. Getting into the rest of the decks, about 45 cards. I played 3 field spell. The field spells speak for themselves. Secret Village, because you're playing really big spellcasters, and you just have a lot of spellcasters in your deck because, you know, the pieces are spellcasters. And then Wedju Temple, shout out to the 1 QCR that I have. The Wedju Temple, to be able to place one of these and then be able to place an additional one and then be able to pop off from there. Most of the time you want to get Shield back here, get Shield out here, and then boom, get an Ankh into your hand, and then go off from there, and you won't have to pay any more life points. But in case you do have to pay life points, you do have a backup plan for that, which is really, really important as well. No third plan with Dogwood this time. Triple Ankh. Ankh is really, really ignorant. I feel that you could play less volatile ways to get to stuff, but I feel like set rotation is the perfect card that kind of covers a gap. The set rotation, being able to put the temple on their side of the field, you don't really care, and they're not going to be playing Exodia. I highly doubt it. Maybe an engine in somebody's deck, you know, that if you're at table 500, hey, that's your fault. But the Wedju temple, being on their side doesn't mean anything. And in the Secret Village, sometimes can, like, you can sit it on their side, and if like you have a spellcaster and you can put it on this, you know what I mean? So the set rotation is interesting enough, and interrupting people's field spells is the most important part of the card. Can't do that enough. The Prosperity and the Terraforming are just obvious cards. Droplet is the one that I really, really was keen on talking about, because being able to activate cards like Ankh and activate a lot of these cards like a Lightning Storm or a Feather Duster, and chaining a Droplet, even with the conflict with Shifter, it does not matter. Droplet is that powerful of a card right now. The conflict does not matter. The conflict is you obviously cannot Droplet under Shifter. Talents in the Blaze to round out the spells in the main deck. No Thrust in the main deck. You don't need to play it. You can grab the Ankh off of it. You don't need to do it. You're not struggling to get the Ankh. And if you are, something is wrong, right? Right. Triple Imperm. And then obviously the Statue and the Exiled Fires of Rage. This is the other correction I would make. Play 2. I'm really just gonna side to quick play and then play 2. I go back and forth. I really try all the ratios. It's really up to you, but the trap is it's just better more often, and you just play the better more often card more often. It speaks for itself. Getting the extra deck, obviously. You got 3 of the big fella. You pay 1,000 in your standbys to keep him on the field, but he can't die by card effects. He does die a horrible death to a card like Slayer, but anything else, you're gonna like negate the Imperm that they want to waste. You're gonna negate the Evenly that they want to waste, that they probably will need to get a card like Secret Village. Secret Village, again, I will mention it one more time. Its name is Secret Village, and Secret Village, obviously being an addition to the inboard, is game time. It's game time. It's why the deck is actually worth playing. Garura and Elder Entity Intis. Obviously, you have to mention these 2 as well, because you are playing Slayer, and you can play other cards that can dump these as well. I wouldn't recommend them inside of this deck, but they are great valuable targets to have. I'm wasting the slot. This can be an Omega in this slot, but I'm playing this because you pay a lot of life points and you can just cook them really rapidly. Rounding out the Exceeds. The Exceeds are up next, and obviously we got to mention Felgran. Felgran is my favorite. Felgran, obviously, you guys, if you can't see him on your screen, because he's blinged out. He's John Cena out here, but he basically can keep himself on your side of the board without going anywhere, which is really key, because Ankh shuffles cards back, and Felgran's not going anywhere. So therefore, if you Felgran target himself and you activate Ankh, Felgran's still sitting there. Then you pass your turn and Felgran is still sitting there. That's why you play the Felgran. And the level 8s, well, if you give them one, they activate some card effects and you take them back. Or the level 8s like Syngeon, you can just round out the game that way. And then Sky Crisis and Aggregator to round out the Exceeds, because, you got more Slayer targets. And the links speak for themselves as well. You just have to have an array of cards to be able to handle many different situations. Abramaxes are wild where I am. They're not rare at all. They're everywhere. And so I have to have an answer. And then the rest of these kind of just handle business. And this steals Fenrir's, because all your monsters are Earth, and Fenrir's just are prevalent still. Although they have been power crept, which is kind of strange. Side deck is whatever it is in your area. This is 14. And the last card, I believe, so this is 1, 2. I guess we could do it the tidy way. The traps kind of go as follows with the Sanctum, the Barrier, and the DDG. I just wanted something to handle a bunch of different matchups, and the Lancia puts in work, and the Sanctum is another target and a thrust target. And the thrust target, obviously, that you want to have alongside of all of these cards is the Ultimate Slayer, because you're just going to try to push through a board. I didn't want to really commit to too much in my side, so it's just kind of a generic, oh, I wanted to handle a lot of these cards and just be able to handle a ton of different situations, like when I know I'm going first and I know I'm going against something like Malice or something, and they wouldn't be able to handle this specifically if they didn't open up specific cards. Hey, it's up to you. Guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm out. Arrivederci. A ciao, babe.